what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Boyos Discuss, the podcast where we pick a topic and then shoot the shit about it for a while. This week, we're finishing our review of Zack Snyder's Justice League with parts 4 through 6 and the epilogue as well. I'm Matthew, and I'm joined by my co-host Ross.
Hello.
And Ben.
Yo.
So before we get into the synopsis, I figured we would do like a little refresher on what this movie exactly is. So originally, Zack Snyder was the director of Justice League, but after his daughter passed away, he left the project to basically have some time to grieve, and Warner Brothers, instead of just waiting and doing post-production with him eventually, they replaced him with Joss Whedon, who ended up changing a lot of stuff through reshoots and post-production editing. And so when the Whedon version came out, it was like, because this movie's not great, let's just be clear. The Snyder Cut is not a great movie, but it's at least a lot better than the Whedon cut. So that had come out, and fans were pretty much shocked at how appalling it was and how they had kind of tried to turn it into like a
Avengers
clone almost. But it's clear that Snyder's vision, love it or hate it, was basically thrown out the window for the, I guess, the sake of expediency. And so after that, fans basically demanded for like years a Snyder cut of the movie, and eventually Warner Brothers gave in, and that's the movie that we have. So with that, we will get right into the synopsis of this movie, and we'll talk a little bit later about what the future of the Snyderverse, in air quotes, may be a little later. But before,
yeah. So I learned more about like the Joss Whedon version, like in the time it took between the first part of this episode and now. And I looked at like the side by sides and the scenes he added and the scenes he took out. And you said they were trying to make it more like Justice League. I think you meant they were trying to make it more like Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're trying to make it more like Marvel and put these shitty jokes in, but like they were fucking awful. Like Batman was just like telling shit jokes, but they put these extra scenes. Like they took scenes out and they took stuff out of this movie to put a shitty Batman joke in. And like when Wonder Woman and Batman are walking around like a lake in the Whedon version talking about, the dark side invasion, pretty much. It's just like so lame. I'm like, why did you take shit out to put worse things into your movie? And we'll talk about it more with the like, the final kind of climax with the Russian Chernobyl town. Like they put stuff, I don't understand. If you just took stuff out of this movie, I'd get it because it's too packed. It's 4 hours, but the shit they put in makes zero sense. It made the movie worse than already a bad movie. It's like, why?
Yeah. Well, and like there's like that entire fucking article that goes through everything, but we'll get into that because like especially with the Chernobyl place, there's stuff that they added that makes it like almost longer in the Whedon version with like that weird family that they have to rescue or whatever, and it just it's like, first of all, why are they living on like an irradiated fucking area or whatever? But we'll get to that eventually. So we're gonna start with part 4, which is Change Machine. And it begins with our crew meeting up with Commissioner Gordon, who is played by, what's his face?
J.K. Simmons?
Yeah, J.K. Simmons. Was this his first appearance as Gordon? Like, I don't recall.
I think it was Batman Superman.
Yeah, because I guess it's been a while since I've seen that. I don't remember seeing him in that, but he, they go up and they meet with Commissioner Gordon, and Cyborg shows up and tells the crew that his dad has been kidnapped as well, because that was something that kind of ended in the previous part. And so they basically figure out that the parademons are coming from Stryker Island, which I don't know if that's like a DC lore thing, but basically it's like this underwater sewer like contamination cleaning plant.
Stryker's is so there's Arkham Asylum for the insane people, and Stryker's just like the prison.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, they didn't make that very clear, but so they figure out they're coming from there, and they got to go there to basically rescue some hostages that have been taken there. And so they do the whole Batman disappearing thing while they're talking to Gordon, and they all disappear except for the Flash. And then the Flash
joke was so cringe, man.
He's the fastest one. He sees shit in nanoseconds.
Yes.
And he's like, where did everyone go? They're too fast for me.
It's like,
I thought it was funny
y'all get
though.
that he's a stupid, dorky, goofy nerd guy? That's his character type. That's
Okay,
what he
I got
is.
that with the hot
Okay.
dog scene.
Yeah. From there, though, they go to Stryker Island, and Steppenwolf is interrogating a bunch of the kidnapped people, and our heroes show up to fight him, and they, at first, are, like, trying to do a plan, but Cyborg sees that his dad is there, too, and he's like, oh, hell no, and he fucking jumps in, and everyone's just like, dude, come on, we were gonna talk about this.
We had this all planned out. Man.
Yeah.
But like
Come
before
on.
this scene, they do this thing where they just like all they have to do is jump across this like little ravine, and there's like a bridge that's out, and like every single hero has to do a super dramatic crossing, like
In
slow
their own
mo, like
stupid ass way,
wow,
of
yeah,
course.
and it's like okay, that's
Well, like,
weird.
and I remember
Isn't it cool?
in the
No.
in the Whedon cut, they made an even bigger deal of that scene. Like, they had, I think it was the Flash or something was, like, afraid of heights, and he was like, I can't do it, I can't go across. And they were like, just go, you bitch. Like, stop.
You have super speed.
Yeah.
You go fast and jump. Fucking idiot.
So
Like they try to make Batman look really cool with his grappling gun, like whoa, jumping across a fucking like 2-foot gap. Whoa.
Yeah. From there, though, they're like, the whole reason Cyborg is like, oh, I gotta go in is because Steppenwolf is gonna put one of them brainwashing spiders on his dad, and he's not really thrilled about that. So
Doesn't it just read your brain?
I don't know. Does it kill
know.
you?
Whatever.
All I know is that one Atlantean dude wasn't doing too well when he had that.
It
hooked up
reminded
Well,
me
that's
of
because
like
he smashed him into the rock. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, also that, but
it was like a anticlimactic Kylo Ren part in like episode 7 when he's got Poe and he's like, "Where's the base?" He's like, "I'll never tell you," and he like is interrogating him, and he's like, "Wow!" Like, and it was just like lamer that. It's like, oh, here's the spider, and okay, that's where it is. Thanks. It's like it just kind of reads your mind, and you're like, "Oh no,
Their technology is so sophisticated. It seems like magic, Ben.
magic!"
Magic.
From there, though, Wonder Woman jumps into the fray as well, and she and Steppenwolf have like a one-on-one fight because Steppenwolf is like, oh shit, another fucking, Amazon. I want to fight them. And I think he can sense that she's like different from the other Amazons. He makes some reference to her being like part god or something like that.
Yeah.
And so after that, as they're fighting, Flash and Cyborg, they start taking the hostages out, basically. And there's a whole other thing where, like, in the other version, Flash didn't want to fight the parademons because he was, like, scared, and they were like, oh, well, you can just save people instead. And in this, he's just, like, instinctively like, okay, I'm, like, better suited to save the people, and he just does that. So I think that was a change for the better, but after that, we got Wonder Woman doing her fucking, like, gauntlet attack thing, and it fucks Steppenwolf up. Like, I was sort of surprised that the fight didn't just end there, because, like, she fucking shoots it and that huge shockwave goes out while the weird music is playing.
Oh, dude. I was going to talk about it when you were done with this whole scene, but, like, every time Wonder Woman is on screen, it's like, Haba, hua, yada.
Well, yeah, so, like, they're doing that. They're doing that, but, like, with her main theme as well.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just, like, just pick one, please, like, and honestly, just pick her theme.
And it's always
her
during,
theme
like,
is
some
pretty
stupid slow-mo thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, like, for the rest of the... Like, I don't know if you guys noticed it in the first half, but in this half, it is fucking egregious. Like, every time she has screen time, it's this chanting
It's every scene,
Valhalla
yeah.
Warriors.
Yeah, I definitely
It's
noticed
literally
it this
every...
time.
Like,
yeah,
please, and it's always in slow-mo, so it's not even, like, background music. It's just, like, that's the only thing you hear with
Yeah.
Wonder
They're
Woman.
trying to build
slow-mo,
tension.
Slow-mo across the screen, and fucking... I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
So, after that, she does her gauntlet attack. It fucks Steppenwolf up. And Steppenwolf knows he's in a bad way, so he's like, oh, I'll get the best of you. And he breaks a hole in the tunnel that they're in. And it unleashes, like, a shit ton of water, and then he just teleports away. And at this point, Aquaman shows up out of nowhere.
Just
And it's
dives
just like...
in through with the water.
He's like,
Just,
and
like,
I'm
flops
here
in.
too. And then he does his water bending to stop it from drowning them all.
For just a little bit, though, he couldn't
Yeah.
even hold it back. Like, why is he a bitch?
Is this the first time we see him with his mom's trident? And he, like,
Yes.
shows
I
up
think
and
so.
He's like, I took the trident.
Yeah. So he stops it for just a little bit, and they get on like Batman has this like spider tank thing, and they like use it to go up the tunnel and get back on dry land again. So in the aftermath of that, Cyborg finally tells them that he has the third Mother Cube, and they just go from there. And then we go back to not Chernobyl.
Like, oh, sweet. Where do you have it, Cyborg? In my empty grave. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. You need to talk about it? It's next to my dead mom. Oh, shit.
Okay. That's better.
Stop.
Then.
Stop.
Okay.
We'll get it. You stay here.
Jesus.
At Chernobyl, though, we have Steppenwolf and Desaad having another little conversation, and Steppenwolf basically tells Desaad that the anti-life equation is on Earth, and Ben, I don't know if you know, like, what is the anti-life equation exactly?
It's this kind of like non-existent ethereal thing that Darkseid has been like imagine how obsessed Thanos was about the Infinity Stones. This is how obsessed Darkseid is about the anti-life equation. And it would pretty much let him, like, eradicate all life and reshape it into his image. It's just kind of like a god code. And he's just been searching for
the
forever.
Whole universe?
Yeah, through the whole universe, he converts planets to apocalypse-like planets, and that's his homeworld, because he's looking for this shit. So the fact, like, that they whipped that out, like, not only did they bring Darkseid, but they whip out the fucking anti-life. I was like, God damn. Like, I was already surprised they pulled out Darkseid. But it's like Thanos, you know, finding out that all 5 Infinity Stones are on Earth in the first Avengers movie. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is the anti-life equation like a recipe for something that you make? Or, like, what? How does he use it?
So in the animated... It's not really specified. In the animated series, it was like this glowing thing. And, like, you could physically hold it. And
how's that an equation?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
I think that's just
Who
what they call
named
it.
this shit?
Comic book writers.
What a bunch of dummies.
So it's just kind of like I don't know. I don't know if it's an object or not. It's an idea or something.
It's a MacGuffin.
It's a MacGuffin.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, cool. All right, so he tells Desaad that it's there, and so Darkseid, he's like, ooh, I want that shit. So he fucking joins the little Skype call that they got going, and now he's talking with Steppenwolf, who starts like taking his armor off, and I don't really know.
Dude, that was badass because it was like he didn't take it off; it like recoiled in fear. He like saw Darkseid.
Okay.
Darkseid showed up in the molten lead kind of like portrait thing that they have going on, and his armor was fucking scared. His armor was like, "Oh fuck, it's the big man," and then he gets down on his knee, and like he's like, "Oh fuck."
See, if they had built Darkseid up, that might be cool. It might be.
That's him getting built up. I think if they didn't have the axe slam where he pussied out, then he'd be more intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But so from there, Darkseid is like, hey, if you get this anti-life equation and start the Unity, then I'll come. Maybe I'll fucking redeem you. I don't know, man. We'll see. And so Steppenwolf is like really happy about that. From there, we go back to the like weird Wayne lab thing, and we get a backstory on the humans' Mother Cube. And,
okay, that's ridiculous. I hated the back. What did y'all think about the backstory? Like, Nazis did it again. Like, that's just
so like it.
How
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
The starting of the fucking and Raiders. It's like, I don't know, man. Why did Nazis always have these mysterious artifacts? Why is that something?
Because Hitler was into that stuff, right?
I mean, kinda. I don't know. Kinda. It's just a goofy thing that everyone's done so much that it's just kind of like,
it's like a pop culture
who
thing.
else would be looking for mythological powers? It's Nazis. It's got to be Nazis.
I don't know. Fucking
what else
something
cares?
up. I don't know. I'm tired of seeing the Nazi thing. Like, it's just so overdone.
Yeah, the Nazis found it after they probably tripped over it because the humans buried it approximately 1 foot under the ground.
Right.
And so from there, it just like sat in a vault until Silas Stone somehow got it.
It straight up got Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like they put it in a box in a warehouse, and then they found it later, and they're just like, ooh.
Yeah, you should research this, Silas Stone. And he's like, okay. So he starts studying it, and he used it to save Victor which, created him as Cyborg in the process. And they basically deduce that the mother box has the ability to change matter to the user's will. And so it's kind of...
They show you, like how exactly Victor turned into Cyborg right here, right? Like, they do the flashback
it
show you.
Like, the box literally just spontaneously creates the rest of his body. Yeah,
what fucking car crash could do that to a person? What the fuck? No, he is like...
I don't know,
he
man.
is a torso and half a face.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, God
Dude,
damn, his spine's hanging out. Like, what the fuck?
It reminded me of the
Jesus Christ.
RoboCop reboot.
Yeah,
Where it's just like his lungs and
but
like
imagine if RoboCop just got hit by a car, and then it's like, yeah, that's what you look like now. It's like, no, what fucking car crash could do that? Did the cars explode? Like, where did his dad get that? Like, I'm not trying to go too deep into a comic book movie, but like, how the fuck do you get your son's half remains? And you're just like, just it'll bring me peace to have my son's like half of his corpse. Thanks. Let me get that from you.
Which side of his face was messed up, by the way?
The side with the metal on it when he's Cyborg.
Is that his right or left?
Left.
Okay,
I think.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, whatever the way the car hit, but like that shit was beyond car crash level.
Oh yeah,
No,
for sure.
you're right.
Yeah, like
I don't know what.
One like in
Boy stepped on an IED.
Is that how is that his origin story in the comics? Like
I forget actually.
Yeah, and like they never like
Probably.
the only other like my touchstone for Cyborg is the Teen Titans show, and they never really get into it that much in that show.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't.
But I guess we'll just continue from there. So he used the box to save Cyborg. It can change matter and stuff, and they're like all kind of simultaneously, their heads go to the same thing. We should use this to fucking bring back Superman. And they're like, we don't even gotta say it. We just know, like, that's what we gotta do. So they, which I think is cooler, because in the Whedon version, they like, I don't know, they kind of have to gradually come to that conclusion, whereas in this, they're like, oh shit, that's like the thing. Like, we all just know right off the bat. But
I kind of wanted Aquaman to be like, what? Like who? Put it in the water.
They probably made a joke like that.
In the water.
They probably did.
There's aliens?
Like,
Oh shit.
From there, though, we go to Lois Lane and Martha Kent, and they're having a little chat.
They're so sad.
Yeah, they're both big sad, and they're like, oh, it's you need to go back to the world of the living, Lois, because she hasn't been to work pretty much since Clark died, and she says to, like, Martha says to Lois, there is something you can do for me. Come back to the living. And it would have been kind of a, like, I don't know, it's a scene where you're building up the emotional, I guess, stakes or whatever of bringing Superman back. But then they end it with Martha leaving Lois's apartment and then transforming into first a black, like, general guy and then into the Martian Manhunter.
Dude, so that scene had the potential to be one of the good scenes in this movie. Like, I was feeling the Martha Lois interaction. I was like, this is nice. Like, the grieving mother is helping the widow or whatever, and maybe she's pregnant, who knows. And I was like, this is nice, good. What the fuck? Has Martian Manhunter been raising Superman this whole time? Has he been Martha?
No, he's
when did he start being Martha?
He's been that military guy.
Who's that?
He's
the fucking military guy.
He is he's in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman.
Is he really?
The military guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well,
so like they were building up to it, like that was Snyder's plan. I just don't think it was executed well at all.
Yeah, because I don't remember that guy for doing much. Like
he didn't.
He should have had a bigger impact before it was like, oh, it's Martian Manhunter. Because then I'm like, oh, who's that guy?
Dude, that was the worst fucking reveal of anything I've ever seen.
It was really bad.
It was literally only for comic book fans would know that he plays as like a black guy, this and that, but like that's just so random. If you're just watching this movie and you're like, what the fuck was that? Are aliens invading? Is he a new thing? Is that one of like, who the fuck is this? And then even at the end of the movie, he just kind of shows up. He's like, I'm Martian Manhunter. And it's like,
yes.
Well, we'll get to that. That's...
Who? Who are you? How many mothers are you? Who have you been on this? Are there like what? There's so many questions that they just are like, no, don't worry, it's Martian Manhunter. Look, there he is. He's cool looking, right? And it's like, what the fuck?
Oh God.
It's like they just don't think.
Yeah, well,
about
that's the problem.
enough.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't come back in the fight, and so it's like.
And then he has the fucking gall at the end of the movie to be like, ooh, trouble's coming. And it's like, bitch, trouble was here.
How do you know?
Earth blew up. Where were you?
Bitch, trouble.
Yes.
But
I mean, yeah.
from there though, we go to the Justice League. They're not sure about what's gonna happen when they bring Superman back. But they basically are like, oh, the boxes fear Superman, and that's why they didn't fucking do their thing while he was here. And so they're like, well, we have to do it so that we can, make it so we can. Yeah, basically.
And
that's
like,
the gist of it. Yeah. They're like, we can't do shit. Let's just bring Superman back.
Yeah, pretty much.
The gist of it.
And when they're all talking in the Batcave and hanging out, like, did y'all see what the fuck Aquaman was wearing? Like, what was that? It was like a sleeveless, like, sports coat with like a weird, like, ratty shawl and like nothing else. And it was just like, what? He looked like a fucking looks like a homeless person dressed Arthur Curry. I was like, what? Where did you even get those clothes, man? Like,
I don't remember that.
One, it's like I
didn't know what his costume was.
I think that
this.
I think this scene would have happened later, but thank fucking God they took out the part where he sits on the lasso of truth by accident. And it's like,
dude, I thought that was the only funny part of the original.
But it like completely was. So like in the original, like in the Whedon version, they have like a whole like bonding scene where they're like, hey, let's get to know each other and have fun. Da, da, da. And so Aquaman sits on Wonder Woman's lasso of truth and basically is like, I think she's really hot and da-da-da, and like I'd like to get with her. And then like
Yikes.
He gets up and he sees that he sat on it, and we're like, haha, that's funny.
Nah, it was like
But
they were
it's
in the
totally
plane
not
going
what
to
you-
Chernobyl, and he was like sat on it and was like, yeah, I'm actually really scared, guys. Like I might die. We all might die actually. Like I don't really want to do this, but fuck, I guess we got to. And he just was like, oh damn it. And I was like, I
completely ruined.
That's kind of funny. Yeah,
Nah,
that's kind of
but
funny.
it's too tonally different from like, well, what this version of the movie is. So I don't know.
Well,
Fuck the world.
That's what they do all the time in these DC movies. Though they just shift tones like Whiplash.
Yeah. Well, that was.
I don't
that
think
was
it's as
pretty
bad
obvious,
in this
like,
as
studio
in.
meddling, trying to be funny like a
Oh
Marvel
yeah,
movie.
yeah. But from there though, we've got them. Like we go into part 5, which is all the King's horses, which is a fucking stupid Humpty Dumpty joke, and it's like, yeah, it's like that's weird. But they're at Clark Kent's grave, and they dig him out, and instead of using their powers, they're like, okay, we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way because they respect him a lot, I guess. And so they fucking exhume his corpse, and then Bruce and Alfred have a little chat about, I guess, Alfred's concerns about bringing Clark Kent back to life. He's like, what the hell are you doing this for, man? Like, you don't know what he's going to do once he comes back. And Bruce is like, I'm doing this on faith alone. And that's kind of like a big theme for him going forward. But
because Jesus is supposed to be, or sorry, Superman's supposed to be Jesus, right? But I also want to say when they're digging up Superman, they have like the only line that I thought was like genuinely funny, and I'm like, oh, this is a good one. It was when Cyborg and Flash were digging up Superman, and Flash was like, oh man, dude, like Wonder Woman's pretty hot, man. Like, you think she'd carry? You think I'm old enough or something? And he's like, she's 5,000 years old, Barry. And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty funny. Just like the way Deadpan said it, I was like, that's
yeah. Well, see, and that's the thing is
they
like
should go for a younger guy, and he's like, all guys are younger guys.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it was.
From there, though, the crew shows up to the I guess whatever, I don't remember what the place was called, but it's where they have the Kryptonian ship. Whatever it was
like
it's at
Star
Labs.
Star Labs,
Star
that's
Labs.
what it was. Yeah. So they go there, and Cyborg manipulates the security system to get them in, and then puts out this evacuation order to get everyone out. And at this point, like, Silas is like, no, we can't fucking evacuate. Like, what are you doing? This is stupid. And he tries to, like, override it, but then as soon as he sees that it's his son who is doing it, he's like, oh shit. He's probably got a good reason for this, so he just lets
now
them...
he's cyborg.
Yeah, now he helps them evacuate everybody.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, I thought that it was a nice moment. But he lets them go to the Kryptonian ship. And from there we have like this weird back and forth thing where they're switching between the Justice League going onto the ship and Lois Lane like being mopey a little bit still, and this is where we see the pregnancy test, and she decides she's gonna go back to work, I guess. So after that, they lower Clark's body into the Genesis chamber along with the Mother Cube, and Cyborg, he like interfaces with the Kryptonian ship because he's a master of all technology or whatever, and the ship is like, look, dude, I don't know what the fuck you think you're doing with that cube thing. We don't like it. We don't want anything to do with it. Like, we'll do it if you tell us to, but we have our concerns about it.
But you're a fucking idiot.
Basically. And the ship doesn't even have enough energy to do the resurrection, so the Flash is like, hey, I can power up and like run really fast and do it, and it's like, okay,
because I shoot lightning from my moving body.
When I get near the speed of light, weird things happen. Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically just, we need an excuse for this to work, so let's just do that. So they're doing the whole thing where he's doing his weird slow-mo run, and he runs really fucking weird.
Dude,
like,
why
I don't
does
know
he
if y'all
run like
noticed.
that, man?
Why? It's so weird.
He runs like his arms are noodles, but like straight edge noodles, and he's trying to cut through the air. Like it looks
because
like
it looks so cool when they do the slow mo.
It looks like me in the shower at 8 pretending to be a waterbender, like just like running and. It looked like Zoidberg trying to be the Flash.
Yeah.
It was fucking weird. It was terrible. Like, why? Who runs like that?
Like, he's so low to the ground, it makes no sense.
And it's in slow-mo, so it's even worse. You just watch his arms noodle around in slow-mo.
So they activate the cube, and we get like a vision of something. I'm not really sure why it happens, but we get a vision should they fail. Darkseid comes, he wrecks everyone, he kills Lois Lane, and he turns Superman to the dark side, which, it's like, Darkseid. But from there, Flash, he, like, after he does his thing, the cube, like, shoots its way out of the ship, which I don't really understand why that happens.
Well, he kind of, so they
does.
foreshadow a little bit, like, they drop the cube, and the cube needs to be powered the second it hits the weird, like, birth liquid that Superman's laying in.
Yeah.
And so Flash has to time it perfectly, and the cube hits the little fucking afterbirth bath before he can touch it. And he's like, oh no, and then he's like, he moves so fast, time kind of moves backwards a little bit.
Yeah,
and the cube gets to the point where when he touches it, the placenta tub will bring Superman back to life. And
I bet you don't have another one.
But the bio pit, I don't know.
No,
no, it's not a good one. No, so like you kind of it wasn't really explained that he can move time backwards by going fast enough, but it plays a big point.
Like weird
it plays a big part.
But like, why does that cause the cube to like shoot a hole through the ship?
It doesn't make sense.
It's a mother box, you know. It's a living machine. Who knows? It's got a mind of its own.
It's a change machine.
Fuck y'all, I'm getting fucking Pizza Hut. I don't know.
But, okay, well, the point is, though, it shoots out of there along with Superman, who is now revived and shirtless for some reason. I mean, I'm not complaining, but he had a shirt on when he was resurrected. I don't know why it just all of a sudden disappeared.
Because he had to give a little flex for the homies.
Yeah.
Resurrecting them, you know?
Yeah. So he flies over to his memorial, basically, and the Justice League shows up, and Superman is, like, freaking out, because he doesn't remember any of them, and granted, he hadn't even met most of them up until that point, except for, like, Bruce and Diana, but
You think he was freaking out? And he looked pretty stone-faced, just like ready to kill them all.
I mean, he was like, he was just like, I'm gonna fucking murk all of these people and these fucking like police officers who are just shoving donuts into their fucking mouths while this is happening. But so they start fighting, and the long and the short of it is that they fucking get their ass handed to them by Superman.
Like he wrecks them all, and then it's only true love that can stop him.
It was a fun fight scene to watch. I kind of like stuff like that. Like when the heroes fight each other, like even in like Avengers, it's fun to watch. And I got the most enjoyment out of this fight scene than any other one in the movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
I kind of liked that instinctively Superman does not like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
just like he just sees him and he's like, I fucking want to kill this guy.
Well, they're all like,
it's like, dude, yikes! Like,
just kind of didn't.
He's like, wait, we made up in the last movie. Hold on.
Right. And they're like, oh shit, well, how do we fight Superman? let's try, I guess. And they all just get domed, and it's like, fuck.
But the only reason that they're not all fucking killed right there is Lois Lane shows up and calms down Superman. And I guess that triggers enough of his memories to come back that he's like, okay, let's just leave together. So he, in his shirtless, like, fucking ripped physique, like, just takes her and flies off, and they're just like, great, I'm glad we fucking used all this time.
Him alive.
Yeah. So they're basically like, okay, well, where do we go from here? Steppenwolf shows up to take the Mother Cube, because once they interfaced with it, it basically told Steppenwolf where they were, I guess, or he could sense where it was. And so Cyborg's dad takes the cube back into Star Enterprises or whatever the hell
Labs,
it's called. Yeah. He takes it back in there, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking use this laser thing on it, and that'll do something that we'll reveal in a second here. And
we don't know.
So he goes into the laser chamber thing, and he shuts himself in, and Cyborg watches him vaporize himself.
Yeah, dude.
He's just like, what the fuck?
He's like,
that
Dad,
wasn't gonna do anything.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So he watches that happen, and then Steppenwolf is like, fucking retard, and he takes the cube and then he teleports away.
And it was at this moment when Steppenwolf teleported away, I realized I knew that sound effect. It's like a when they teleport, and it's like it's the sound from Dead Space when you try to like look at the map or where you're going. It's like the exact same fucking sound effect. It was bothering me the whole time. And when I figured it out, I made a note. I was like, it's the Dead Space, like, go! Or I don't know what
I guess I'll have to look that up after.
Yeah, man. It sounds exactly like it. Anyway.
Alright.
But, let's see. So it turns out that Cyborg's dad actually used that thing not to destroy it, but to mark it so that they could see it from a satellite or some such.
It got so superheated.
It's something like that.
It was holding so much energy that they should be able to see it somehow.
And if that's the case, I'm impressed with Steppenwolf's armor. He could just fucking pick that boy up and carry it like a football. And like, whatever.
Yeah.
He's outie.
So yeah, he takes that and basically goes off. So now he has all 3 cubes. So we're getting into the final little part of the movie now. But let's see. So yeah, that's the end of part 5. So there we go to part 6, which is Something Darker. And it starts with Clark and Lois flying to the Kent family farm. And since his memories are back, he's, looking around, and they get him a shirt, which is a bummer, because honestly, they should have just had him shirtless for the rest of the movie, but I digress. Clark says, Martha loved it here. So did I. And there's, like, a lot of really cheesy lines and stuff like that.
Martha Manhunter.
Yeah. Jeez. From there, we go back to our Justice League, and they're in the Wayne lab, and Cyborg is like, hey, the only way we're gonna fucking stop this is if I fuse with the Unity and basically break it up, so that way we don't all get vaporized by it. We go back to the Kent family farm, and there's like this really weird part where Clark is like staring at butterflies and corn. Like he's standing in a field of corn, and he's just like, He's just looking around.
He's living his best Iowa life.
It's just weird. It's
yeah.
like... So he notices that Lois is wearing the engagement ring that he had given her, and that makes him happy, and he's like, I've got a second chance, and I'm not going to waste it. And then Martha, for some reason, shows up, and I don't really know why, because I think she had gone to Metropolis from there, but she shows up, and they all share a little moment together, and Clark is like, they fucking brought me back for a reason, so I gotta go and find out why, so peace, y'all. And he flies away to go help the rest of the Justice League, so...
Well, doesn't Bruce Wayne show up?
No, that's
Not
later.
there, no.
Yeah, that's in the epilogue.
Okay.
But yeah, back at the base, this is where we get our, like, bonding scene with the Justice League. And basically, Bruce is talking to Diana, and he's like, I've been having these fucking visions that have been going on. Like, it's pretty fucked up. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I saw this future flash,
You
and
mean
it was
like
really weird.
a bad dream, Bruce? He's like, no! Like a more real bad dream.
Yeah, like I had said earlier, you know, we don't really have any of the, I guess the hokier, like, kind of Marvel-esque, like, bonding scene. It just kind of ends after they do that. Like, other people talk a bit. Like, I think Aquaman and Diana talk about, like, the Atlanteans and the Amazonians, like, weird history with each other. Like, they supposedly aren't on good terms or something like that. But after that, they fly off to face Steppenwolf, and as they're leaving, Alfred is like, you know, hey, like, how do you know Superman's even gonna come? Like, you don't know if he's going to or not. And the only thing Bruce says is he's like, faith, Alfred, faith. Again, it's just more of the he's Jesus thing. And so from there, we go back to Chernobyl, and they start the Unity, and all over the world, people are sensing it. They sense it in, like, Atlantis. They sense it in the, what is it, Themyscira, where the Amazonians live. And then for some reason, Alfred senses it too, and he's like, he stoically looks into the distance as it's happening.
So, like, the Unity it's the three mother boxes syncing up and becoming one box, and when that happens, I guess the planet gets vaporized. So, you know, these are high stakes, all right?
Yeah.
Alfred's the man in the chair. He's like the one helping Batman with his tech, getting it ready, flying his little planes and tanks and getting it operational. And what's he doing when that shit's getting synced up? He's just getting fucking blasted. He's drinking a double scotch. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. And he's like, oh, is a rumbly. Am I too buzzed or is the world ending? Like, what the fuck? What are you doing, Alfred?
It's the world.
When bank robbers are running around, he's like on the fucking computer, like, oh, Batman, they're going down fourth and add blah, blah, blah. But no, when the world's ending, he's like,
Batman doesn't do this type of stuff often. He mostly just stops street criminals.
Yeah, maybe he's
Alfred's
like, I ain't
not
got
used
no
to it,
goddamn,
man.
I ain't got no goddamn faith. I'm just getting blasted for the end of the world.
Well, from there, Clark, at first he meets up with Alfred, or no, maybe that's after he gets the suit. Clark goes to the Kryptonian ship, and we hear Jor-El and Jonathan Kent. They, like, basically are using lines from the previous movies to kind of hype Clark up and hype us up as well. And so there's, like, different suits as he's walking through the hallway of the Kryptonian ship. And he ends up choosing the black Superman suit. And the whole time it's playing the Man of Steel theme by Hans Zimmer, and it's fucking hype as hell.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, this is, like, one of the, I think, standout scenes of the movie, just because, like, it's fucking badass. Like, it's everything the black Spider-Man suit should have been in Spider-Man 3, where it's like, this is, like, fucking badass when he shows up with that. It's just really cool. But from there, he goes to talk to Alfred, and Alfred's like, okay, they're over there. Go. Go help them out now.
We found him.
He's like, bro, I'm drunk. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Go over there, fucker. Give me more scotch, bitch.
From there, though, they show up at Chernobyl without Superman, because he's gonna have to fly there. It's gonna take him a little bit of time. And Bruce...
I had a question.
Yeah.
So, like, the thing they fly in there, like the ship, is that an alien ship, or is that, like, Batman's?
It's
That's
like
Batman's
it's Batman's bat jet
Okay.
thing.
Because they kept
It's like the Justice League
they
special
keep talking
ship,
about
right?
an alien ship, and then they like would fly that ship, and I didn't know which one was which. I
Yeah.
got confused.
Yeah,
So
well,
it
and, like
wasn't-
there's a whole thing where Cyborg had to like repair the ship or something
Right.
because they couldn't get it to work.
It wants to fly.
Yeah. Yeah,
wants
so
to.
that sounds like an alien
God
ship
damn
to
it.
me. So I was like, is Batman just like casually flying this fucking alien? Okay, but if it's not, it's not. It's his ship.
Okay,
Now,
like I'm-
doesn't the Justice League have like a dedicated special Batman ship that they fly around in?
They kind of all just can fly.
Well, that's true, but like
But-
they have the ship, right? I'm pretty sure.
It's not like
they have
probably
that
just
like
for
It's not like a
they have that
Justice League
space
plane.
station,
Yeah.
I don't know,
which
man.
I always thought was a little inconvenient, but
Space Station's cool though.
it's cool, but the logistics of it just don't. If you're fighting crime on Earth, then you have
The
to go
watch-
down
it
every
doesn't
time.
matter.
Yeah. The Watchtower.
From there though, they use the jet to shoot a hole through that weird dome that they created.
It was
over-
very easy to
The
get
fleshy
through that
vein.
dome.
Yeah,
The
it
fleshy
is,
vein
yeah.
dome.
but it's like really solid, so they just shoot right through it after one shot, pretty much. So they fly in, they like jump out of the jet, and Bruce is flying around in it still and trying to shoot the parademons and stuff, but they shoot him down, and he like ejects from it in a Batmobile, I guess. And the Batmobile I thought looked pretty cool. But
did.
he's going around, he's fighting the parademons in it. And they nearly destroy the Batmobile, but then the rest of the crew come and they save Bruce. And from there, we get our big fight with all of the parademons, because Steppenwolf is like, fucking unleash the entire horde, send them all out there. And so they're all out there, they're all doing really badass stuff, and we have a, I don't know, like a little, I guess, meme line. It's probably like the only meme line in the movie where we have, like, Aquaman gets, like, knocked into the air or something, and Cyborg catches him and like is giving him a boost to like attack another parademon, and he's like, my man, and then he fucking throws him.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like the only like decently memey line. But the parademons, they use this big old turret to destroy the Batmobile, and then Batman uses this ejector seat with like a, you know, little parachute, and he lands on the, I guess, outskirts of the stronghold, and he gets a hold of the turret, and he uses it to start fighting off some parademons himself. So from there, we got Aquaman and Wonder Woman. They confront Steppenwolf while the Flash is powering up so that Cyborg can interact with the Unity and stop it.
Yeah, they need to use his energy again, so he's running laps around the city.
Yeah.
Trying
So
to get
they're doing that whole thing as he's doing his weird slow-mo run. And Victor, he starts to interface with it, but Aquaman and Wonder Woman, for some reason now, are having a lot more trouble with Steppenwolf. And so they get knocked back, and Steppenwolf is about to fucking kill Cyborg with his big ol' axe. And who fucking shows up? But ya boy Superman, and he catches the axe. He catches the axe in his hand, and he says, I'm not impressed.
I don't even think he does that. I think it just lands on his shoulder, and he's just.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's even, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lands on his shoulder. He's like, not impressed. And then he fucking does his like freeze breath and
I think
destroys.
that's the first time he does that too.
In this continuity,
Yeah,
I think it
which is
is.
cool.
Yeah, it was cool. He does his freeze breath, destroys the axe, and now that Superman is there, they're just fucking up Steppenwolf. Like
Dude,
he
I
can't
started
do
feeling
shit.
bad for him.
Yeah.
Like I was
Yeah,
like,
he was
I thought they
cool,
were gonna
too.
go into a whole like, oh shit, Superman's still a fucked up person. Like since we revived him, because he is like lasers off one of Steppenwolf's like part of his head. And
Yeah.
he's like, ah!
His horn or whatever. Yeah,
and
they're
then
like,
he's just like beating the fuck out of him on the ground. Like he's not even fighting back. And they're all just like, yeah, get him. It's like,
When, like-
dude,
It's like, oh guys, I think it's enough. Oh.
like fuck.
you had
Steppenwolf.
mentioned earlier that like his armor went off because it was like scared.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot more sense in this scene now, because his armor gets like beaten off basically. Like they're
Yeah.
punching it, not like that, Ross.
yeah.
They're punching him a whole bunch, and the armor's like, oh shit, and it fucking just goes away, and then you just got Steppenwolf in his little underwear on the ground, and he's like, yeah.
Dude, he looks so pitiful after having the armor too. It was like, oh, he's all naked.
But as they're doing all this, Barry is still doing his slow-mo running, and he gets shot by a parademon who somehow is able to like sharpshoot him
from the tower, right?
While he's going like ultrasonic fast.
Yeah, like what the fuck is that? That's bullshit.
It is.
I'm gonna say you could probably time the lapse perfectly enough to where you're like, he's gonna be there in a second.
Nah. If he's going close to the speed of light again, which he was,
you can see him passing.
There's no living.
He's just really good at math.
I don't think the parademons are, but the point is, they shoot Barry, and he falls on the ground, and he's like, oh shit, I lost all the energy, and so the Unity gets completed because he doesn't give Cyborg the energy he needs. And fucking the entire Justice League gets vaporized, and a portal to Darkseid opens up. And at this point, so like, can he heal himself? Is that a thing the Flash can do?
He can definitely disrupt the flow of time. Like that's a big thing. Like he goes fast enough to where there's like a time barrier that he can travel through, but it like super destabilizes him.
Okay.
But like he's got a villain from the distant future who's like consistently time traveling and stuff because he has the speed like the Flash.
Yeah.
So it is like a thing that he deals with regularly in the comics and stuff.
So he like, all this stuff happens and he's like, oh shit, I gotta like turn back time to fix this shit because all my friends are vaporized and that's not great.
I could turn back time.
Okay.
Do they play a weird song? I feel like there's a weird song that plays.
This actually was a really good scene. Like I think this was my favorite scene in the movie.
I thought so. It was cool. I don't know that I like the implications of what that would mean in like a bigger DC universe if you could just turn back time constantly. But I don't know.
It destabilizes him, Matthew.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Who cares?
Okay.
Like,
but it's bad for him. So he can't do it all the time.
Like the first Flash got killed because he was doing that too much.
Oh jeez.
The first one?
Like Barry. Well, okay. The one everybody knows. The Barry
and like
Allen.
the other content, like a different, like the comics. You mean?
Yeah. So like,
are there two
like
Flashes in one timeline?
There's like 3 or 4. Yeah, they're like a family.
What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
like Barry's not the first Flash. He probably is in this thing. But there's another Flash, and then there's Wally West, who's like his cousin or something. I don't know. But
how did they all get the Flash powers?
I never cared that much about the Flash,
so
I don't really know.
Ben, you're a fucking man in the chair for all this.
I'm trying.
For all this info. But from there he does his time travel thing, and he gets the energy he needs in order to give it to Cyborg so he can interface with it. Cyborg is able to separate the cubes after he has this weird, like...
You see, like, everybody restructuring molecularly, and, like, the world straight up gets, like, blown up, and when he's running back, it's, like, the actually good use of slow-mo, and the stuff, like, the rubble, the path is opening up in front of him.
Coming back
and, like,
together.
Yeah.
Superman gets fucking obliterated. And so it actually gave the Flash, like, a lot of purpose in this movie, which is cool.
Yeah, I thought overall, like, it's a neat scene, but they bring back everyone. Cyborg separates the cubes after having this weird, like, I don't know, thing where he faces his inner demons or doubts or something, where it's like his dad, his mom, and his like past self.
Well, it was like the mother boxes went into his consciousness.
Yeah,
and tried to make him doubt himself, and he's like, no.
Yeah,
and. I'm handsome, and then he broke apart the cubes.
I am computer god.
Yeah.
So they do that. They break apart the cubes, and then they just fucking continue wailing the shit out of Steppenwolf. And Aquaman stabs Steppenwolf with his trident, and then like is able to throw him off of the trident towards the portal to Darkseid that's opened up. And before his body can go through, Wonder Woman cuts off his head.
To the slow-mo, we all.
Yeah. So they fucking, his beheaded corpse goes through
He was already dead.
Yeah, but they just wanted to...
She's psycho.
They were like, Diane, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Now I know-
whoa,
now I know why they
you
do.
got some things to work on. Oh.
Now I know why they didn't stop Superman. They're like, yeah, fucking hurt him. Yeah, fucking kill him. Kill him.
So his beheaded corpse falls at the feet of Darkseid, who is not thrilled whatsoever.
His head rolls to Darkseid's foot, and Darkseid just like smashes his head beneath his boot.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
It is pretty cool, but
pretty fucked.
he's not thrilled about the outcome of this, and so he basically sets up a sequel. He says, "Ready the fleet. We will use the old ways."
I don't understand that though. He like shakes his fist at them. Just go through the portal, my guy. It's right there. Just fucking boop. Go in.
It's too hard.
You got this. Darkseid could wipe his ass with
Yeah,
the Justice League.
it's where the anti-life
this movie would be
equation is.
6
He has the
hours
portal.
long.
He could beat
But
all
it's
of them.
like
That doesn't make any sense.
you need
I
to
didn't
come
think
up with a
about that.
reason why he doesn't do that. Like as a filmmaker, he can't just be like, ooh, well, I'm going there anyway, but not right now.
I thought the portal like started
has to
to
use the old
close
ways.
Right.
after like immediately after they stop the what's it called, the Unity.
It
I thought it,
started
like,
to, but
starts
he was
to
looking
close.
through for a good bit.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
got
like,
yeah.
if Darkseid didn't give a shit about this backwater planet, that makes sense and doesn't want to go through. But if he knew that the fucking anti-life equation was there, he would be like, bitch, get me on the next bus. And wait, there's a portal in my throne room? Sweet. Like, let's fucking go.
But did the
Everyone
portal only
hopped through.
I think the
Yeah.
portal only opened because of the Unity, right? Because that was the
There's a-
whole thing. Is he was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you should start it, and then
But
I'll be
it
able to
was
come."
open.
Yeah.
Shit was open, and he was just standing there looking at him. And it was long enough for Steppenwolf's body to get through it, and it was long enough for his body to get through it.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But he was standing there with one of my all-time favorite DC characters because of just how fucking retarded it is Granny Goodness is like
What?
the general of Darkseid's armies. Yeah, Granny Goodness, and
What?
she's this like old
Granny
lady.
goodness.
Yeah, she's
Huh.
this old lady with just like an electric like smashing bat. And yeah, she's just a weird fucking villain. Like, here's the ruler of hell, of alien hell, and he looks badass and intimidating. He's got a grandma that leads his armies, and she was there. And I'm like, that's cool.
His
I'll have to look
goons.
that shit up.
Yeah,
His goons reminded me of the goons that Thanos has in Infinity War,
yeah.
like Squidward and the other ones. the other one.
Squidward and Venom.
Yeah.
The symbiote got on Squidward, and then they bred into an alien horde. Yeah.
From there though, they've done that. Darkseid sets up a sequel that we'll maybe never see. And we get a heroic side-by-side shot of our heroes that totally wasn't made just for a poster. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know if
definitely.
you remember that
Oh, yeah.
scene at the end.
Yeah.
It's really
Where they're all
cheesy.
just standing there.
Yeah.
They wanted an Avengers pose, and it wasn't.
Yeah. From there,
But,
though, wait, you can go. Yeah, what's
Yeah,
up?
so like what I appreciated is that in the Whedon version, this entire kind of like fight and final thing with Steppenwolf was like had this god awful red filter over it, and like everything was red, and for no reason. It was just terrible. Like
Yeah.
they didn't destroy the fucking like womb over the reactor, so it was just red washed, and it sucked. Like that was what I remembered most about the Whedon version was that terrible redness.
Yeah.
So I'm glad
that
that's
sounds
not a
familiar.
thing.
Well, and,
And,
like, it even makes the parademons look, like, completely different because they just changed the color. Like, they just boosted the red instead of, like, solely making the outer shell look red. So it's, like, the suit that Superman's wearing looks, like, bright red, and that, like, Wonder Woman's
Yeah.
outfit is, like, really fucking red. Yeah, it's just... And that's, like, I had talked about this in the previous episode, but, like, they basically tried to just change the, I guess, color tone in the Whedon version to more match something like Justice League, when you really need to,
Avengers.
like, do that through, like, reshoots and, like, changing costumes, like, and the colors of the costumes themselves. And that's why it's, like, it's just a weird sort of, like, a middle ground probably would have been better between the two, but I think that the Snyder version is a little more, I don't know, appealing in terms of visuals, at least to me anyways, but that's all.
No, yeah. Like,
I mean, this one's missing a lot of color, but the Whedon version was like, especially with the CGI and the filters, like you said, it just tries to like smack you in the face with a bunch of fake looking color and I don't know.
I think both
CGI
use their
shit.
filter too hard. They lean into it way too hard in Schneider and Whedon's. But I would rather, I guess, look at Schneider's. Because the Whedon one is just fucking blew my eyeballs out. But they also like, so you saw Steppenwolf and then Darkseid's through the portal and Desaad, who was like the advisor, is with them. And they do this thing where you don't need to do a voice modulator on every single fucking person. Like all of them had like this super deep voice that was kind of intimidating, but you could tell that they like doctored it with like to make it sound more deep and evil. And it's like, bro, like you don't have to do that. Like people with good voices, just let them have good voices. Like shit's intimidating. You got James Earl Jones and Josh Brolin like being intimidating motherfuckers, and they don't need that like, ooh, it's so super deep. Like all of them had it, and it bothered me. Like I didn't like the voices.
Yeah, and I think I agree. Yeah, they could have, like, I don't know. You didn't have that iconic voice actor playing, or and granted, we could have
Michael
Ironside. I'm pretty sure is the dude who played Darkseid in the Justice League and Superman animated series. Fucking incredible.
Yeah,
like those Darkseid speeches are the coolest shit, and like when he tells Batman, he's like, no one's ever dodged my Omega beams. Like, good on you, good for you, Batman.
Yeah.
Impressive. Like, it's way more intimidating than this like computer generated deepness.
Yeah, I will say, I think at the time that Justice League came out, Michael Ironside was dealing with cancer, because I think that's why they because he plays he's the main character in Splinter Cell, right, as well. Yeah. So at the time they were using like other voice actors whenever that character would make cameos, and people were like, "What the fuck, dude? Just get Michael Ironside." But he was dealing with cancer allegedly, so that's yeah. So otherwise, who knows? They might have had him do this as well. I'm not really sure about that. But from here, we're gonna jump into the epilogue, which is titled
Totally Unnecessary.
It's called A Father Twice Over, and from there we have Victor. He uses his powers to rebuild the Sony Walkman that he destroyed.
Used the Force.
Yeah,
he used the Force.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
He doesn't do anything. He doesn't pull his little electronic beepers out to fix it. He just it just comes back together in his hand. That was so fucking weird.
It was
dude,
weird.
He can rewind time too, obviously.
What the fuck, man?
But he rebuilds it, and he listens to his father's words, and it's finally like he's come to terms with the fact that his father wasn't there for him or whatever. From there, Aquaman meets up with Volko and Mera, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go see my dad. Maybe we'll set up Aquaman movie. That could be neat." And after that, we go to Bruce, who is rebuilding the Wayne Manor, and it's gonna be the, I guess, Justice League base type of thing.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna have a big table here, and Wonder Woman's like, with chairs for more.
Yeah. He's like a big round table in the center with 6 seats and room for more.
That's so lame.
And then
but there's not even a sequel.
We'll talk about that.
And that's when fucking freeloading ass Martian Manhunter's like, another chair. No.
I've been your mom this whole time.
Yes.
Martha?
You remember that girl you slept with in high school, Bruce? That was me. It's been me all along. Here's my chair.
So Barry, he meets up with his dad back in prison. And he's like, "Hey, Dad, I got a job at a crime lab." And, like, is the implication that it's actually a job at a crime lab, or is it, like, him working for the Justice League?
Working with Justice League. I don't know.
The point is it's one or the other, and his dad is real proud of him, and it's kind of a nice moment. From there, we go back to the Kent family farm, which I guess had been, like, bought or, like, basically Martha couldn't pay for it, and so the bank basically took ownership of it. And so Bruce shows up, and he's like, hey, like, I'm fucking here to help or whatever. And Clark is like, oh, well, thanks for everything. Like, how'd you do it? And Bruce is like, oh, well, I bought the bank that...
That bought you. Yeah, he's like, how'd you get it back from the bank? He's like, well, I bought the bank.
Yeah.
I have money.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of a neat thing, and it's like
neat.
it's good seeing them like help each other out.
No, I like that. That seemed like a Batman thing to do, where he's like, wow, Batman, you're kind of selfless? Like,
yeah.
That's surprising. He's
well, and it's like, I just...
Shut up, bitch, and then he gets in his car and drives away.
It's been weird, because, like, there's this scene, and then I don't know if y'all have been watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's, like, the whole thing where they're trying to save a business.
Don't spoil anything.
Oh, it's just...
a boat or something?
Yeah, there's the... What I'll say is, like, the fact that in this, they're like, oh, yeah, we look out for each other. Like, if someone's going through a hard time, you know, like, we'll buy the farm back for them. Whereas in, like, the MCU, they're like, fuck you. Fuck you. Never mind that you're friends with Tony Stark. They have a bunch of
divorces, it seems like, with, like, Civil War and whatever else is going on.
It's just, I don't know. That was a weird observation I had, where it was like, I feel like there's a lot of instances where money could have helped people through stuff in the MCU, but they're just like, nah, you're fine.
Work yourself up by your bootstraps.
So then Diana goes back to look at that, like, Temple of the Amazons, I guess, where she had gone earlier in the movie, and she's looking towards Themyscira. And I guess the implication is that she wants to go home, and she might have a way to go back. But then we see Clark walking through the streets of Metropolis, and he does the classic shirt rip, and under it is the black Superman suit, so that's pretty cool. And then after that, we go to Arkham Asylum, where we basically have like a they're getting all the prisoners to go out and go eat lunch or whatever the hell they do, but they go to Lex Luthor's like cell, and there's this like crazy bald person sitting there, and it's not Lex Luthor, because he, I guess, had some plan to escape, and so now he's bald and he's sitting on this yacht, and Deathstroke shows up out of nowhere on another boat. And he's like, hey, like, fucking Lex Luthor, I got a bone to pick with Batman. He's the one who took my eye out and stuff. And so Lex Luthor, like, I guess as a show of faith, is like, I'm going to tell you something that'll help you hunt Batman down. He's fucking Bruce Wayne, my guy. And it's just, like, a really weird scene. But thank goodness they took out the line from the Whedon cut, which is, we'll build a league of our own.
Ugh.
He said that in the Whedon version, but they took that out.
That is pretty cringy.
Yeah.
Dude, he's still the fucking worst. Like, I fucking hate Jesse Eisenberg, man. I forgot. Like, thanks for reminding me, movie. But Deathstroke, like, they looked like good casting. Like,
he was cool.
Like
he
should have.
Yeah. And from there we have our other like post-apocalyptic vision thing that Bruce has, and it's just Mad Max but with parademons. And we've got Batman, Cyborg, Mera, Deathstroke, who is now teamed up with Batman, and the like weird future Flash, who is completely different looking than the Barry Allen that we know. And they're all talking, and they're like, oh, we want revenge for why everything is so shitty. And then we like do a slow pan over to the Joker.
Isn't he laughing too?
He's doing his weird laugh thing.
Basically, yeah.
He's doing that whole thing, and it pans over to him, and he and Bruce kind of talk, and they're, basically exchanging jabs, and, they have a whole thing where he's like, you shouldn't have sent a boy wonder to kill the clown Prince of Evil or something.
And
then Bruce is like,
jabs. They go like, Joker says like, who's gonna give you a reach around if it's not me?
It was fucking weird.
Yeah, it was really
a weird
strange.
line.
Yeah. Like, they were trying to be too edgy, I guess. I don't know what it was.
Disgusting.
It was uncomfortable.
Yeah, so they're gonna form a truce, and the Joker gives Batman this Joker card, and he's like, as long as you have this fucking card, it's a truce, and like we'll work together. But the second you like tear it up, you can fucking wail on me and just kill me if you want, or we can just fight and see how that goes. But from there, he wakes up from the nightmare, and he, like, Bruce walks out.
Superman.
Oh yeah, okay, wait, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Evil Superman shows up, and basically kills them in this.
And Mira's like, I'm gonna stab this trident through his heart for killing Arthur. So it's like, Superman killed Aquaman, and why are they doing this in this movie? Why
they're never gonna make that movie
because they're setting up the sequel. No, we'll get there. We'll get there,
no,
Ross.
we won't.
But like Matthew, it's like setting up the sequel by pulling a clip from that sequel and putting it at the end of your movie.
You know who else did that?
Make any sense.
What?
Marvel.
When?
It was in one of the. I think it may have been Captain America. The what's the second? The Winter Soldier. One of them ends.
Shitty.
One of them ends with the trailer for the next one, and it's just like
a trailer.
Yeah,
this is kind of different. Like it's a full-fledged like scene with a beginning, middle, and end.
I feel like they've done stuff like that as well in Marvel, though.
It's just fucking weird, though.
It's weird.
Like,
I don't disagree.
That it's bad in both. It's just like, what
point
the fuck, man?
Point is, they were setting up a sequel. He wakes up from the nightmare, and Bruce like walks out onto his weird like patio deck thing. And we see someone, like, flying down. And at first I thought it was Superman. I was like, oh, they're going to have a little chat. But it turns out it's fucking Martian Manhunter. And so they have a little talk.
He's here again.
Yeah, it's because they
Did you know? He's here.
Well, no, and we get the horrible, like, name reveal. Because, like,
the whole call me the Martian. Who the fuck calls you the Martian Manhunter?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Who has ever said that?
Who wants to be called that?
So he's like, I've been watching Earth for many years, and I've known many faces and stuff. And he's like, well, who are you? And he's like, that's unimportant, but there's people coming here, and we got to work together to fight them. And then as he leaves, that's when he says, oh, and some have called me the Martian Manhunter. And then he flies away.
It's like...
But there's an interesting, I guess, trivia thing, like the only one I really included in this part. Originally, Zack Snyder had wanted it to be Jon Stewart, who is the black Green Lantern character. You know, the black guy who's Green Lantern. Yeah, he would wanted Jon Stewart to be the one that showed up at the end, and that would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But apparently WB had like issues with that, and so they were like, no, you can't do that. You can't. And
That's
it was
weird.
It was such a big thing for Zack Snyder that he almost left the Snyder Cut and was just like, fuck it, I'm not doing it then. Because like part of it was he wanted to have another person of color to you know, be a little more inclusive, but in the end he, I guess, made the concession that like, okay, we'll do Martian Manhunter, who is played by a person of color in this iteration. So he kind of was able to I guess get that in that regard. But
he played a white woman.
And
True.
He was Martha for longer than he was the black guy.
You're not. Okay, if we're talking all the movies, if we're talking Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, then no. But
Whatever.
You're also
I don't
not wrong.
remember him in those anyways.
Yeah.
From there, though, we have our dedication for the movie, which is Autumn Snyder, which is, of course, Zack Snyder's daughter, who had passed away. But that's essentially the whole synopsis for part 2 of the Justice League. So what did y'all think overall?
Good movie.
Oh, yeah?
Good.
Well, do you guys know the
I don't know,
Injustice timeline?
Like the games?
You know the games?
Yeah,
do
sort
you know
of.
what happens?
Vaguely, yeah.
So, like, this apocalypse setup is that. It's the Injustice timeline, where it's like, so Joker kills Lois Lane, and, like, but he, like, nukes Metropolis, and Lois Lane dies in it, and Superman's just like, you just destroyed my entire life, and punches a hole through the Joker and kills him.
Oh my god.
Batman's like, holy shit! And then Superman's like, that's never happening again. I'm gonna become a dictator and make sure Earth's a paradise by any means necessary. And then, like, Batman's like, you can't do that. Superman's like, well, then I guess I'm going to have to kill you. And then Batman, like, gets a bunch of superheroes with him that agree with him. And they fight Superman and his Justice League of, like, people trying to support the planet. So
That sounds better
that's
than
what they're
this.
setting up. Like this still sounds like, or this sounds like Superman is going to team up with Darkseid, and then the Joker's still alive. So obviously it's not like completely that storyline, but it is. Like if Batman's going to go against Superman, like because he's a dictator, because some tragedies happened in Lois Lane, it's like, come on, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And like
okay, I did think it was cool that in the epilogue of this, they allude to the fact that like it was either Lois Lane who dies or Bruce Wayne who dies. Like it was like a life or death situation for them, and Batman selfishly chooses to save himself, and the Joker is like, the reason why shit is like this is because you cannot let yourself die. Like you know, it would, like, apparently I guess they've retried a few times, like is the implication, and they're like, each time we've tried this, it's always Lois Lane that's the reason that shit is still fucked up. And so I was like, I thought that was a neat little thing that they talked about. But
it's like, I don't know if it could be good. Like I hated it, but it wasn't its own movie. Like I couldn't really judge it. It was one scene that was just so random, and it was like trying to dump an entire extra world on you, and you're like, the fuck?
Like, we missed a bunch of stuff in between the end of that movie and whenever the fuck that is.
Like, and the teases in the Batman and Super, it's not even like teases. It's like sometimes Batman has visions of another movie.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what? So, like, if they built it better, you know, I could see it going in that direction. That'd be interesting. It'd be a twist. You'd be like, wow, Darkseid came back. Justice League's going to fight him. Oh, shit, something happened to Lois and Superman's evil now? I don't know. But now that we know that shit would happen, it's like, cool. Great.
Yeah, true.
Thanks. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I from my perspective, I think it's sort of neat. I wish we had a more concrete answer on whether or not we'll ever see it in any capacity. But
it's just one more fucking thing, like that they're super boosting their way through, where it's like they didn't even really cover Darkseid and everything. They threw in the anti-life equation, Martian Manhunter, fucking Green Lanterns were mentioned, all this shit. And then it's like, let's just throw the Injustice timeline in it too. Like, we don't have enough stuff in this movie. Let's build that too. It's like, no, man. Come on, like without that, it would have been
Why would you flesh any storyline out then? Just show the people that it exists. Just show them. They'll like it.
It frustrates me.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So, like, I will say, overall, I think I liked it. But I have a lower standard for superhero movies. I think, like, I don't expect the world of them.
Right.
And I think I appreciate the differences that this has compared to something like a Marvel movie. Like, I think there's a place for both of them, and I think had either vision, been a little more fleshed out, Whedon's or Zack Snyder's, like from the beginning, like the whole way through, I think it probably could have been better, because I feel like this cut is a little almost reactionary in a way, based on what people thought of the Whedon cut. And so they kind of maybe overcorrected a little bit. So I don't know. Would y'all say that like some movies are impossible to salvage in editing? Like, I don't know. That's kind of something that this movie's made me think about.
When I first read that question, I was thinking no. They just didn't do this one correctly, and I still stand by they didn't like this cut wasn't done correctly either versus the Whedon cut, but with all the build-up that should have happened before this movie, I think it's impossible to like fully save this movie and make it really good, because we're missing a bunch of the story with the other movies that should have come before. I think we're just missing too much.
How about you, Ben?
I think you can definitely make a movie better. Like, who knew that adding 2 hours to a movie would really just flesh it out? You know, like, I think it improved it, yes. Am I still happy with the end product? Not really. Like,
yeah, same.
I'm a DC fan. I really like it. I know this stuff. It's fun for me to watch, but only when it's good. Like, even kind of the animated movies are not so great right now. And it's not fun to watch something I really like not be good. Like, even if you tickle me and you're like, hee hee, Martian Manhunter, like, check it out. I'm like, cool. You know, Darkseid's cool. I like it, but not when you make it bad. And it's still, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still not a great movie. Like, I wouldn't have watched it if it wasn't for what we're doing right now. But I'm not upset that it exists anymore. Like the Whedon one, yeah, it sucked. But this one, I'm just kind of like, all right, it can't really do more harm. It's out there now, so that's fine, I guess.
Yeah. So since this, I guess, recut has come out, there's been like a lot of, I guess, campaigning to restore the Snyderverse. You have Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, who had previously like basically shot down any like reprises as that character after the Joss Whedon version of the movie, is actually, I guess, on board if Zack Snyder somehow is able to do something with that iteration of the character again. And right now, Warner Brothers has said that he won't return, like Snyder won't come back to do any movies, but they did not rule out that a TV show or like a TV special is not going to happen. So is that something that y'all would be interested in seeing in the future, assuming that it's like continuing that continuity, or are y'all just kind of done at this point with the Snyderverse?
I mean, okay, so for me, I at first was thinking you were going to say, oh, they're teasing he might be back for more movies in this cinematic universe, and I was like, I don't know, man. I did not like. There were a lot of things I didn't like from his stuff so far, but a series, I mean, shoot, if it's as long as they do good, like I'm sure he can do a good DC series. It's just like I hope if he does get the opportunity that he learns from having made this movie. I don't know. I hope it would be good. So I'd be fine with seeing it if it happens, but we just have to wait.
I mean, I think DC, I mean, it sounds like everybody thinks it needs a Zack Snyder, but it doesn't. It needs a fucking Kevin Feige. And until that can happen, I don't really, it just doesn't matter. Like, they can make their shows and they can do all this stuff, but if they don't have a solid plan or direction, it's just going to be kind of like, oh, look at that, it's DC, that's cool. And then you don't, like, it's not going to expand anything. It's not going to be better than what we've seen. It's just kind of like, neat.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the one. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, I think that, like, there is a place for it, and especially, like, if fans are, saying, hey, we want this, then I see no reason to not do it as a show anyways, like, because obviously by now they're doing all kinds of other reboots and stuff, and, like, sequels that are kind of retconning things from the Justice League, like, both versions. Like, we're getting The Batman with Robert Pattinson, which is a completely different, like, thing, and supposedly is gonna start, like, a new Justice League universe, I guess, or something like that.
Oh, it was just kind of like
so they are
Christian Bale kind of thing.
So they're restarting, but then they also aren't, because they're doing Aquaman 2, they're doing another Wonder Woman movie, they're doing a Flash movie, I believe. And so, like, it's weird where they're kind of, I guess, testing the water, maybe, and being like, okay, we're going to take the best elements from, like, because people liked Aquaman, the movie. They've semi-liked the Wonder Woman movies. Wonder Woman 1984 is okay.
Dude,
best,
I can't even see
but...
that one. I haven't seen that one, and it's like $20 still.
Really?
On
I thought it was on HBO
you can't
Max.
Rent it.
Oh.
No, dude.
I got it on
not.
Blu-ray if you want to borrow it.
That's a little more effort. Like, I'll click a button on my TV.
It's fine, is the point I'm making. Though.
Yeah,
and, like, I don't know, so it's just weird that they're like, we're going to keep kind of playing this by ear and not really commit to anything. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting seeing where they go forward from here, and I don't think we're going to get a Kevin Feige sort of like
it's like they made
visionary.
a soup with no base. They're just kind of throwing shit. They just like needs meat, needs vegetables, needs this. Put it all in there, and it's like you don't have any you don't have a base, man. Like, where did it start?
Yeah,
where's the foundation?
Yeah.
Or Iron
it's
Man
like,
was such a solid foundation for Marvel. Like, where is that?
Another analogy could be like they're just trying to make any sort of recipe, and they're picking ingredients that they're like, these ingredients that I love these ingredients. These ingredients are awesome by themselves, but they don't consider how they work together at all.
Or they're just
they
like
put them all together, and it's
you
like
gotta take the time to boil the water, dude. You can't just fucking throw the lobster in the pot and throw it on the plate and be like, eat it. It's fucking everybody likes it.
Yeah,
bro, you had to fucking take your time on it. You had to season it. You had to make it. Mwah. You just haven't. You haven't done this, and it's like, well, you don't like lobster? You like potatoes? And they throw a bunch of potatoes at you, and you're like, man. Like, I can make something out of this, and some people, they really like raw potatoes, but I think you're missing the point here.
Yeah, they're just not trying very hard, it seems, which is strange. Like, I mean, I guess it's not that strange, because money, but...
Yeah. Well, like, at this point...
I think it's definitely fucking DC, Warner Bros. Executives just fucking it up. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
They need to get somebody who can build something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they need to leave them alone.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think we're all in agreement on that. Yeah. So like, it's just weird because we're gonna be going into like the later part of this year. We're getting The Suicide Squad, which is technically a sequel to one of the worst DC extended universe movies, but it's still gonna be in the same continuity. So that'll be in like August, I think. So I think we'll probably jump back into that once that movie comes out. But
I'm excited for it. It looks good.
I think so too. And it's just like, what do you know? You get a director that people largely are like, okay, yeah, we like, James Gunn. Let's just do that.
I really
James
don't
Gunn,
need
is he the one who did the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, I mean,
and he's making
obviously
it in that style. Like it's
that
obviously
would totally
that style.
be it.
Yeah.
And I don't really have this problem where it's like I don't want DC to be Marvel. Like it's fine. If DC is going to be Marvel, fine.
Fine,
cool.
do
I
it.
like Marvel. Like
And
I
do it
wanna
well.
see
Just
these
do it
heroes
well.
done justice. I want to see it. Like I don't know. Just because it was a successful thing and it's not you're not doing your own version. Yeah, if your own version is shit, don't do it.
Yes.
Fucking get James Gunn and get these fucking Marvel guys and build something.
Yeah. So I guess, are there any final thoughts from y'all on this movie, or have we kind of gone through
I don't know,
everything?
Man. It's almost like it's not deserving of much more. I don't know. Like,
Wow.
I don't have, like, we've talked about it, and I don't feel that inspired to, like, we've broken it down.
Yeah.
What else is there? It's
like when I actually finished watching the movie, I was just like, play this over.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess from there, does anyone have anything they'd like to plug or anything like that?
Nah, I'm good.
I think Ben and I are going to do another Let's Play at some point, but, I'm also doing my action figure reviews and all that stuff, throughout the weeks. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Boyos Discuss. And due to some scheduling mishaps, we're actually going to be taking a break next week instead of this week because originally the plan had been we were going to do Master of Disguise and this last week, but instead we're going to do a break next week. The following week, though, we're going to be doing the live-action Scooby-Doo movie to
oh my gosh,
to appease Harlan.
This is the first I'm hearing of that.
Harlan's coworkers were basically like, y'all should review that, and it's like, okay,
Fine.
yeah.
Anything for the fans.
One, it was funny because we had been talking about what we wanted to review after that, and both Ben and Harlan were like, we want to do like serious movies and stuff like that, and then immediately after that, Harlan's like, oh, by the way, we should do Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, Harlan, these are like mixed signals.
Yeah.
But
I'm like, I really enjoyed that Alien review. We talked about cinematography and movie making. Now we're going to talk about Scooby-Doo.
Well, and we just did Zack Snyder's fucking Justice League, so, only top-notch movies for us.
yeah. Well, if y'all enjoyed today's episode and are watching it on YouTube, we would really appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching or listening, and always remember, there are heroes among us, not to make us feel smaller, but to remind us of what makes us great.